Her life to service through helping build orphanages in Guatemala for almost 20 years. Chad and Jodie Larson are this week someone you should know.
This little girl, through the translator, she said this was her first little baby doll that she had ever had.
Chad and Jodie Larson have spent the last 14 years building orphanages, schools, and homes for those in need in Guatemala, all through their nonprofit, Leah's Kids.
500,000 orphans there, but they have no services, no, help with food. There's a lot of food insecurities there. Just not a lot of work opportunities, and so we just thought, I know there's need here in the States, but down there they just really have absolutely nothing, and a lot of the people in the villages are living in shacks, cornstalk shacks with dirt floors with no running water.
It all began with a mission trip to build a church in 2002 with their ministry.
Jodie and I took our first trip to Guatemala in 2002, and we thought we would go one time and help build a church for a community that needed it. And on the very last day of that trip, we visited an orphanage. There were 85 kids living in a 3-bedroom home, and a little boy came up to me and handed me a bracelet and said, "Here, I made this for your wife." And it just wrecked my world.
They describe how the people and children they aid help ground them as well.
The people there are just so appreciative of everything you do for them. And, we take medical people sometimes, and we might just give them a 30-day bag of vitamins.
The nonprofit began as a tribute.
In 2009, my great-aunt Leah was diagnosed with terminal cancer. And she only had a few months to live, and we went and met with her in Idaho. And she said, here, she gave us a little check and said, keep doing what you're doing in Guatemala. Became a teacher and poured her life into kids. She got married and found out she couldn't have kids of her own. And so that's kind of the backstory of why Leah's Kids is called Leah's Kids, because first of all, she was orphaned. Her dad was killed when she was little, and she had this love for children.
Through word of mouth, people learn about Leah's Kids and offer their donations or time and service to take a trip to Guatemala to help.
Feeding center.
Whether it's the construction or the medical work that we're doing when we're there, to see now at the orphanage that we started building on years ago, there's a school there, there's 10 homes, there's 160 kids, there's a clinic.
Both Chad and Jodie enjoy working together on their mission.
It's been really awesome, and I think, not all couples can do things together, but we seem to work very well together. He's kind of the more outgoing people person, and I'm more the detail person.
Their children also take part in service.
We have 3 daughters, and our youngest is a senior at Chester High School. All of them have been with us on our trips, and when they were 10 years old, they could go for the first time, and so they have all gone multiple times.
Chad and Jodie have a goal to continue to aid those in need in Guatemala, hoping to build hospitals and schools in more remote areas.
I've said 100 times, I wish every teenager could go to a developing country, because, boy, it sure changes your perspective.
In Wentworth, Alexandra Todd, Dakota News Now.
And if there's somebody you think we should all know about, please email a nomination to news@dakotanewsnow.com. We're back right after this.